Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about 2017 favorites. I wanted to try and keep it to one video, but I'm not gonna be able to do it. I need to actually break it out into two videos, so this is part one. There's a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and dive on in. I'm gonna cover off kind of like in categories. The first category that I wanted to talk about was skincare. I have really been into skincare this last year, and there were a lot of products that I've tried, a lot of different serums and things like that that I've tried either via sample, and then also stuff that I actually bought. There's not a whole bunch. The first skincare item that I wanted to talk about was one that I have talked about already on my channel. I've also blogged about it. It is the Algenist Genius Liquid Collagen serum oil. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I think it's an oil. This stuff is amazing. I really love the effects that it has had on my skin. As I mentioned to you, I have talked about it on my channel in the past, so I'm not going to dwell on it too much. It is $115, so it's up there in price. It is a plant-based serum or oil. It does have algae in it. It's got these micro algae beads in it that have this oil in them. The collagen is vegetable collagen, or it's plant collagen rather, not vegetable collagen. It's plant collagen, so it is vegan, gluten-free, you know, non-GMO, all of that stuff. This is really a great product. Even within a couple of days of using it, I noticed that my skin was getting a lot more supple, is looking a lot more hydrated. It looks a lot younger. The lines on my face plump out some, and that's only within the first few days of starting to use it. I've been using it pretty consistently now for 6 weeks, and I really love the condition that my skin is in, and I think that this product has a lot to do with it. I haven't had it for a long time, but I think I have had it long enough, at least for me to qualify as a favorite for 2017, because I would have used this all year round. I really would have. I would have used it all year round if I had had it, you know, earlier in the year. So definitely a product worth considering if you're looking for a new serum or oil that you want to add to your skincare. It absorbs very quickly into the skin too, by the way. I forgot to mention that. It doesn't leave the skin feeling sticky, greasy, any of that stuff. It's just really good. Everything that I've tried from Algenist has been super good. This one being at the top of the list. Next skincare item that I wanted to talk about, and I have also talked about this on my channel, it did land on one of my favorites, and it is the La Mer The Cleansing Oil. I only have to use a pump of this stuff, so it is lasting me forever. I also blogged about this now that I think about it, I really love this stuff. Now, you might think to yourself, a cleansing oil is a cleansing oil is a cleansing oil. Not necessarily, at least not to me. I have tried a few cleansing oils and cleansing balms, and if, you know, sometimes the cleansing oil is a little bit too thick and heavy and I can still feel a residue on my skin. I have to say that the La Mer, the cleansing oil, is probably the best of all of the oil-based products that I have tried in the last year that take off my makeup. The reason being is that it has the miracle broth, which is the La Mer secret sauce. It is what runs through their entire product line and makes their products really good from a skincare perspective. And so the reason that I like it though is because, like I've mentioned, I've tried a few different oils, and if they feel too heavy and leave a residue on my skin, they're automatically off the list. The Clinique Take the Day Off Balm and the others that I've tried, and I can't remember which ones, I'm sorry, but they left my skin still feeling kind of, you know, like I needed to moisturize it. I still needed to do my nighttime skincare routine. When I use the La Mer, the cleansing oil, I don't feel like I have to do my nighttime skincare routine when I use this to take my makeup off. And it does a really good job of getting all of the foundation out. It doesn't do the best job at taking off my my mascara or liner or any kind of like waterproof eye products, and that's okay, because honestly I use my Garnier micellar water, or I use my Sephora waterproof makeup remover to take that stuff off. But what I do appreciate about the La Mer, the cleansing oil, is that it does take off all of the foundation. My Clarisonic tells all. Whenever I use the La Mer, the cleansing oil, to take my makeup off, there's nothing in the Clarisonic brush the next morning. I know that it does a very, very good job of getting all of that makeup off, melting it down and getting it out of the pores. It is pricey, like I said, though. This bottle that I have is like $90. Would I repurchase it? Yeah, I think I would. I really, really love it as a cleansing oil to take the makeup off. And I'm really impressed by the fact that my skin feels like I have done a nighttime skincare routine. To me, it is worth the $90 price tag. The next item that I have for you guys today is the Peter Thomas Roth Irish Moor Mud Purifying Black Mask. This is a fabulous, fabulous mask. It is a black mask. It goes on very thick. But I will say that it does exactly what it says it's going to do. It just does such a good job of, you know, purifying the skin without stripping it or drying it. The other mask that I wanted to talk about, and I don't have one here with me, and that is the Too Cool for School Egg Cream Mask, the hydration mask. I've talked about that as well. All, you know, blog, channel, everything. Love that mask. I think that mask is amazing. It is so good. It hydrates the skin so wonderfully. Fabulous, fabulous face mask, especially if you have dry skin or if you're traveling. Definitely recommend that mask. I've talked about it here on my channel ad nauseum, and yeah, absolutely love it. The last skincare item that I wanted to talk about is one that all over the place on YouTube, and it is the Sol de Janeiro Brazilian Boom Boom Cream. And this stuff is amazing. I love it so much. It smells good. I have to smell it every time I talk about it. It just, oh, I love the way that smells. It's a really great body cream. It does a great job at moisturizing my skin. It does impart a little bit of sparkle. You don't see it unless the sun hits your skin, then you start to, you know, glow like a Cullen. But yeah, it is a fabulous, fabulous body cream. For me, it works very, very well at moisturizing my skin. I absolutely love the smell. And it has a really great effect on my skin. I highly recommend it. It is a little bit up there in price as well. It's $45, but I think it is well worth it. I mean, it is a sizable tub. This is my first one. I still haven't gone through it. Of course, I don't use it every day. I use it maybe 3 or 4 times a week, just because sometimes I'm just too tired, because I have this on my nightstand and I put it on my skin before I go to bed. And sometimes I'm just too tired to worry about it. So, you know, I don't put it on every night, but it is amazing. Absolutely love it. Definitely, definitely a favorite. I have already repurchased a backup because I like it that much. I want to have it at all times. That takes care of the skincare segment. One last thing though, I don't know if I consider this skincare or a tool, but I wanted to talk about the Shiseido facial cotton pads. These have actually been game-changing for me this last year. I discovered them this year. I really, really love these little guys. They have got to be the most gentle cotton pads that you will ever buy. You know, you think to yourself, what? Really? I can just get cotton pads at Target. But guys, you know, these are really, really nice. I mean, they're these little squares. I use one a day, and I use them primarily for taking off my eye makeup. They're just so, so gentle. And that's what I truly love about it. They are very, very gentle. And they do a great job though at getting everything off without scratching. All right, moving on to face products. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was primers. While I do use the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Primer, and I do like it a lot, I wouldn't say that it's my favorite primer. I use it every day because I have it, and I feel like I need to use it up because it was not cheap. So I do use it daily, and it does do an okay job, but I wouldn't say that it's a groundbreaking primer. The one to me that is groundbreaking that I absolutely love is the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. And this little guy here, I think he's like $8, $9, something like that at the drugstore. I'll have everything listed in the description box below, by the way. But the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer is definitely one of the best values at the drugstore, in my opinion. It's a great primer. Now, it's not going to blur your pores. This is primarily for stopping oil. I use it a lot during the summer because that's when I tend to get oilier. And I absolutely love, love, love this primer. I think that this primer is definitely one of the best ones that's out there, especially if you need oil control. It leaves your skin feeling a little bit tacky so that the foundation has something to adhere to, and it does a great job of controlling the oil over time. So absolutely one of the best, one of my favorites of 2017 has been the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. Moving on to foundations, I have 3 foundations that I absolutely obsessed over this last year, and I'm going to talk about my most favorite, and that is the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra 24-Hour Makeup. This stuff is so good. It looks really good for hours and hours and hours. And it makes it really perfects my skin. It makes my skin look just so nice. And I love the fact that it has SPF. This has got SPF 15, very long wearing. Really, really nice foundation. The next foundation is one that I recently purchased. It's another one that I got at the Sephora VIB Rouge sale back in November, and it is the YSL All Hours Foundation. This is what it looks like here, and I am in the shade Amber, which is B60, and I really love this foundation. I'm not wearing it today, of course, wouldn't you know it. For my skin, this tends to work very, very well. It is not as long wearing as a Tint Idole, but it does hold up fairly well throughout the day. I would say I get a good 8 to 9 hours out of it, which is really all that I need on the daily. And it's just really nice. It's a beautiful foundation. It goes on really well, stays on well. I don't have any problems with it settling into my fine lines or my pores. As a matter of fact, it doesn't really settle into this marionette line that I have here. It's really just a great foundation. I absolutely love it. I think it's really wonderful. Even though I've only had it since November, it has been a foundation that I have been reaching for a lot since I've bought it. The next foundation that has been kind of my obsession in the last year is my La Mer, the Soft Fluid Long Wear Foundation, Broad Spectrum SPF 20. I am in shade Suede. As you can see, I have used this little guy and I'm continuing to use it. I still have a little bit left down at the bottom. Will I repurchase? Yes, I just need to kind of save up for it because this foundation is $120. Is it 120, 115, something like that? It's over $100, but it is a beautiful, beautiful foundation. It looks really great on my skin. It's got a very nice natural finish. It has a kind of like a, I don't know, it has kind of like a satin finish, I would say. It's not overly glowy, it's not overly matte, it's just really nice and satiny. And I really, really love that. I'm a natural finish kind of gal. I love full coverage foundations, don't get me wrong. I just don't like it to look like I'm wearing a foundation. That's the thing. And this does not look like I'm wearing foundation when I use the La Mer Soft Fluid Foundation. And I really loved it. I actually got a sample of this on New Year's Eve last year and wore it. I went out and bought it and have been using this throughout the year. I stopped during the summer, of course, because I ended up with a tan. If you're okay with spending the money on a foundation, I think that this is definitely one that is a good one. But this has really been one foundation that I have loved wearing a lot in the last year. Moving on to concealers, there are only 2 to talk about. One is a classic. I'm in the minority because I am not a Tarte Shape Tape lover. I like it, but it's very drying on my under eyes, so I don't wear it on its own. I always mix it with something that's got a little bit more moisturization. My favorite for 2017 are 2. I've got the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. This is a classic. It's been around for a few years now, but it's definitely one that I go back to again and again and again. This has got to be my 3rd or 4th bottle of this stuff because I really love it that much. It does a great job at concealing the dark circles that I have. It doesn't dry out my skin. It doesn't crease. It holds up very well. I can use it as an eyeshadow primer. You know, I mean, it's just a really, really nice all around concealer. There's just not anything bad that I can say about this concealer. It is one of my absolute favorites. And then we have a new favorite that has joined the group, and it is the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. Now again, this is one of these products that I just recently bought. I think I bought it in November, or maybe it was December, I think, darn it. Anyway, I'm sorry because this is a late hitting item, but it has been out for longer than I have been trying it. I think the concealers came out in like the late summer. So they have been around for a while. This is just something that I haven't tried myself until just recently. And this concealer is amazing. I am wearing it right now. I really, really like it. It is very, very comparable to the Naked Skin concealer by Urban Decay, and it is only $6. Now, the only drawback I say that I would have on this concealer is the fact that you don't get a lot of concealer, but for $6, you know, you can't really get upset about it. This is a really, really nice concealer, and I am using medium 30 is what this one is. It just goes on very nicely. It is very opaque. It does a great job at covering up my dark circles. I would almost say that it edges out the Urban Decay Naked Skin concealer just by a little bit. It's more along the lines of the Tarte Shape Tape as far as the amount of coverage that it gives, at least that's what I think. But it's not nearly as drying. For $6, you can't beat it. You cannot beat that. Let's go ahead and talk about powders. So the first powder is one actually that I had in my favorites last year, and it's landed in my favorites again. And it is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, and this is in 2 medium. You know, first, the packaging, I die. And then this is the compact itself. It is such a really beautiful, beautiful powder, and it does a really great job at blurring my pores. And for me, when it comes to powder, that is what I'm looking for. I want something that's going to, well, I want it to absorb the oil, of course, but also, just as importantly to me, is that it camouflages the pores. And this powder does it. It is so finely milled. It is just the most luxurious powder that I have ever used on my face, I think. It is just so pretty and so very nice. And yeah, I have been loving it, and I continue to go to it. I continue to go to it again and again and again. I don't think I ever want to be without this powder, honestly. The next powder that I have is one of the newer powders that I have tried. I mean, it's been out for a while. I think maybe October or maybe as early as September. I could be wrong. Whenever the Too Faced Just Peachy stuff came out, this is a part of that collection. And I guess it would be helpful if I told you what it is. It is the Too Faced Peach Perfect Mattifying Loose Setting Powder. And it is infused with peach and sweet fig cream. That offers some scent and some flavor, honestly. This stuff is sweet when it gets into your mouth. But besides that, this powder is amazing. It really, really does a fabulous job, especially when you apply it with the Beauty Blender, at smoothing out and perfecting the skin. I feel like I am, you know, I have face tuned myself when I put this powder on my face. Seriously, it is amazing. I really, really love the powder. The scent and the flavor, you know, I could take it or leave it. 99% of the time I use a Beauty Blender to put it on, so the powder doesn't really fly much. Like, you know, when you use a brush, powder tends to fly. The fact that this powder has flavor, I'm not like creeped out or weirded out by that, because there are other powders that are getting into your lungs and into your mouth that don't have any flavor, and you don't even know that it's getting in there. So, you know, you hear people talking about the Peach Perfect powder, and it's like, I can taste it and it bothers me. Yeah, well, you know, with the Laura Mercier loose setting powder, the RCMA loose setting powder, any kind of loose setting powder, guess what? It's getting into your mouth. You just don't know it. So I'm not weirded out by the scent or the flavor or anything like that. I think that it's not overpowering, which is good. If it were very, very strong and perfumey, I probably wouldn't like it. But since it's very mild, it's very light, and it actually is quite pleasant, I don't worry too much about it. Every now and again, even with the Beauty Blender, some will fall into my mouth. You know, I can taste it a little bit because it flies in the air, and it's not a big deal to me. I'm like, okay, it probably has, like, I don't know, like some sort of artificial sweetener, or maybe it has real sweetener. Who knows? The damn thing could have carbs for all I know. Absolutely, absolutely love that powder. It hit holy grail status, like boom, like that, instantly. So good. Highly recommend it. Moving on to blush. I have 3 different blushes that I go to again and again and again that I absolutely love. And one of them is more about the formula than the color. And that is the Clinique Cheek Pops. And this happens to be Rosy Pop. How could you not love these? Look at that beautiful Gerbera Daisy embossment it has on there. I mean, it is so pretty. What I really, really love about these blushes is that you can't make a mistake with them. You can't put too much on. I don't know what it is about the formula for these blushes, but it goes on really beautifully. It looks like you're glowing from within, or like you've got a natural flush happening. It just looks beautiful. And it's not luminous. It doesn't have any kind of shimmers. It doesn't have any kind of glitters or anything like that, but it just has this like glow from within kind of look to it. And I love the Cheek Pops for that. I like all of them. I only have 2, but I have swatched, you know, a bunch. And I really do need to get more of the Cheek Pops because I think that they're a great formula. They're a no-fail formula. If you are a beginner with makeup and you're worried that you might put too much blush on, go with these guys, you know, the Clinique Cheek Pops, because there is no such thing. I mean, you can't go wrong with them. You really can't. They're not inexpensive though. They are high-end or department store blushes, but they are stunning. They're really, really pretty. I love the Clinique Pop blushes very, very much. The next blushes that I wanted to talk about are the e.l.f. blush palette, and what I have here is the dark palette, but this applies to the light palette as well. It is a 4-pan blush palette. This is the dark, and this is the one that I tend to wear during the winter. It is meant for deeper skin tones, but the colors to me scream winter colors, you know, winter blushes. And so I really, really love these. And what I like about these is that, one, you can pop these pans out if you want to and create your own custom palette, because they also have contour powders and things like that. But what I truly, truly love about them is that they are so pigmented. A very little bit goes a long way. I mean, you only have to tap your brush in once, and you even tap it off a little bit because they're very, very pigmented. I actually have, that's what I've got on my cheeks right now. I have this little guy right here on my cheeks. They're so pigmented and they're long lasting. They don't tend to fade on my skin at any rate. This palette was $10, so $10 for 4 blushes. That's what, $2.50 a piece? Guys, this is the best, one of the best bargains at the drugstore in my opinion, because you're getting 4 blushes for $10 and they're amazing quality, and you can customize your palette, you know, as you collect more of these. I reach for them a lot. I reach for them a lot. The next blush that I wanted to talk about was one that I bought, and I mean, I just love this blush, and it is the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush in Mellow Wine. This is the only shade that I have in this blush line, and it is just a really nice kind of like middle of the road peach tone. And what I love about this blush is that it goes with any eye look. You know, you can do cool tone, you can do warm tone, and it's gonna look really good paired with any type of eye look. I mean, even if you were to do something very plummy or you were to do something very pink, it doesn't matter. This blush is gonna go with it. It's a really nice kind of neutral peach blush. This is super, super cheap. Really, really inexpensive. I think it's like $3 maybe at most. I love this blush. I think this blush is really pretty. It is so attainable because it is so affordable, and it does such a beautiful job. I mean, it really looks good on the cheeks, and it will look good with anything. Moving on to contour. First contour I wanted to talk about was the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow Contour, and that's this little guy here. I don't know if you can tell, but he's getting a dent. I use it that much. I love this contour shade. It's almost too light for me. You know, it's almost too light for me, but it still does the job. This is the fair medium shade. The only reason I don't go for the deeper tone is that it just seemed too orange to me. It seemed too warm for me. I prefer a cooler or more neutral toned contour shade. Love this. Love it, love it, love it. It is so nice. It is, you know, typical Charlotte Tilbury, very nicely milled, very, very soft, very, Just really, really a lovely, lovely contour. It's not too warm and it's not too cool either. It's not too ashy, it's not too warm. It's just the perfect, perfect contour shade. And it just blends beautifully. You know, it applies to the skin wonderfully. Can't say enough good things about it. It is really a beautiful, beautiful contour. The other one is from the drugstore, and you've seen me use it a gazillion times on my channel, and it is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette, and it is in Dulce de Leche. As you can tell, I'm starting to hit pan on the bronzer side. This little guy is very much like the Charlotte Tilbury in tone. They're very similar in tone. This one's a little bit deeper, and it is from the drugstore, and it is probably one of the best contour shades that I own. This one is great. I absolutely love it, and you can, if you watch any of my like drugstore get ready with me's, and sometimes even just any of my regular tutorials, you're gonna find this in the description list because I use it a lot. I use it a lot. I really, really love it. I think it is such a beautiful, beautiful contour shade. All right, the next category that I have is highlight. I picked out my 3 favorites, the ones that I reach for pretty consistently. The first one is the Charlotte Tilbury. Again, it's the second half of the Charlotte Tilbury Bronze and Glow. It is the highlighter here. The reason that I like this highlighter so much is because with aging skin, you have to be mindful of texture. You know, you have to be mindful of not calling attention to texture and wrinkles and things like that. This particular contour is very visible but subtle. It's more like a glow. There's no glitter in it. It's got a really beautiful pearliness about it. You know, the thing about the Charlotte Tilbury products is she is a celebrity makeup artist, and red carpet makeup isn't like YouTube makeup. If you watch red carpet, it's usually a lot more toned down than what we do here on YouTube. It's a lot more natural. And I think that Charlotte Tilbury developed her products for the red carpet, or, you know, based off of her experiences of doing makeup for red carpet events. And that's why I say that the highlighter is visible but not visible. It doesn't emphasize texture. It doesn't have any kind of glitters in it. It is very buildable. It's very, very nice in that respect. I just really love this highlighter, especially if you have aging skin and you're concerned about texture. It really, really doesn't emphasize texture. Probably one of the better highlights that's out there for aging skin. It really is. It is just really a lovely, pretty highlighter that I absolutely adore. The next highlighter that I am going to talk about is, it became a quick favorite. We received a full-size Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Prosecco Pop, and it became an instant favorite of mine. It is very similar in tone to the Charlotte Tilbury. Wow, I've got like a lot of similarities here. There's a huge difference between the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter and the Becca Prosecco Pop. The Becca Shimmering Skin highlighters, you guys all know, they're wonderful, wonderful highlighters. I think they're also really, really good for aging skin. They're not glittery. And that's what you want to look out for, you know, when you're dealing with wrinkles and things like that. You don't want to have any glitter on your face. It'll just emphasize everything that you don't want to emphasize. This, on the other hand, is just stunning. It goes on beautifully on the skin. You know, it blends out nicely. If you use your brush and you kind of keep going over it with the brush, it kind of helps polish up those particles that are in there to create shine. You see, I blended it out a little bit. I mean, it is just beautiful, and you can use a little or you can use a lot. It's very, very buildable. So it's just a really beautiful, very flexible kind of highlighter, I think, that's good for those of us that are worried about, you know, aging skin. The last highlighter that I have for you guys today is the Ofra highlighter in Rodeo Drive. And frankly, I don't use this on my cheeks, but I do have to call it out because I use it just about every day as my inner corner highlight. Every day since I've received it, almost, you know, whenever I've worn makeup, I use this. It is so pretty. Outside of the Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes with the glitter, it is the only product that I can use in my inner corner that I know will show up. I really, really love this as an inner corner highlight. I just think that it's so pretty and it just brings just the right amount of shimmer to that spot in the inner corners. It's the perfect shade for my skin tone. It does have a lot of glitters though, I will say that. So that is why I don't wear it on my cheeks, but I do wear it on my inner corner highlight. And that's it right there. Now you see how glowy it is. As you blend it out, you do see the glitters. I will wear it, you know, as a highlighter, as a cheek highlighter, if I really, really want to be glowy. More often than not, I fall back on the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfectors if I want something really glowy, because they don't have any glitters. If you don't mind glitters, or you know, if you're not like over the age of 40 and you're not worried about the texture on your skin, then by all means, the Rodeo Drive is a stunning highlighter. But for me, the biggest use that I have for it is for the inner corner highlight, but it's worth mentioning as a 2017 favorite because I use it all the time. Well, that is part 1 of my 2017 favorites. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button before you leave. And if you are a returning viewer, hello again. I'm so happy to have you here. Please don't forget to hit the notification bell if you haven't already. That way you will always be notified of content and you can be sure that my videos will be in your feed. Thank you again so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. I will see you in my next video. Bye.